माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद So we start with Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati. On my desk there is a bread color small notebook on my table. Could you quickly bring it? Service to the devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. A loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, established as an irrevocable fact. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Jai. So today we are reading chapter number 7, Canto 7, chapter number 15, from verse 47 to 56, right? 47 to 56.
47 to 56.
Yes. We'll start with verse number 47. Can we pull the slide? Hare Krishna. So, verse number 47, the translation is, according to the Vedas, there are two kinds of activities. First is pravriti and second is nivriti. Pravriti activities involve raising oneself from a lower to a higher condition of materialistic life, whereas nivriti means the cessation of material desire. Through pravriti activities, one suffers from material entanglement, but by nivriti activities, one is purified and becomes fit to enjoy eternal, blissful life. Good? Yes.
Text 48 and 49. The ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices known as Agnihotra Yajna, Darsha Yajna, Pumsa Masa Yajna, Chaturmasa Yajna, Pashu Yajna, and Somi Yajna are all symptomized by the killing of animals and the burning of many valuables, especially food grains, all for the fulfillment of the material desires and the creation of anxiety. Performing such sacrifices, worshipping Vyasadeva and
Vaishwadeva.
Oh,
Vaishwadeva.
what is this? Okay, performing such sacrifices, worshipping Vaishwadeva by performing the ceremony of Baliharana, which is supposedly a constitute of god of life, as well as constructing temples of demigods, building resting houses and gardens, digging wells for the distribution of water, establishing booths for the distribution of food, and performing activities for public welfare. These are all symptomized by attachment of material desires.
Thank you. Yes, Dinal Prabhu.
My dear King Yudhishthira, when I can't repeat.
No problem.
Can't say.
She can do that.
My dear King Yudhishthir, when oblations of ghee and food grains, like barley and sesame, are offered in sacrifice, they turn into celestial smoke, which carries one to
Successively.
higher planetary systems, like the kingdoms of Duma, Rati, Krishnapaksha, Dakshinam, and ultimately the moon. Then, however, the performers of sacrifice descend again to the earth to become herbs, creepers, vegetables, and food grains. These are eaten by different living entities and turned to semen, which is injected into female bodies. Thus, one takes birth again and again.
Wow. Yes, Prabhu.
Twice born Brahmana Dija gains his life by the grace of his parents through the process of purification known as Garbhadhana. There are also other processes of purification until the end of life, when the funeral ceremony Antariksha is performed. Thus, in due course, a qualified Brahmana becomes uninterested in materialistic activities and sacrifices, but he offers the sensual sacrifices in full knowledge into the working senses, which are illuminated by the fire of knowledge.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Mind is always agitated by the waves of acceptance and rejection. Therefore, all the activities of the senses should be offered into the mind, which should be offered into one's word. Then one's word should be offered into the aggregate of all alphabets, which should be offered into the concise form Omkara. Omkara should be offered into the point Bindu, Bindu into the vibration of the sound, and that vibration into the life air. Then the living entity, who is all that remains, should be placed in the Brahman, the spring, which is the process of sacrifice.
Thank you.
On his path of ascent, the progressive living entity enters the different worlds of fire, the sun, the day, the end of the day, the bright fortnight, the full moon, and the passing of sun in the north, along with their presiding demigods. When he enters Brahmaloka, he enjoys life for many millions of years, and finally his material designation comes to an end. He then comes to a subtle designation, from which he attains the casual designation, witnessing all previous states. Upon the annihilation of this causal state, he attains his pure state, in which he identifies with the supersoul. In this way, the living entity becomes transcendental.
Thank you.
This gradual process of elevation for self-realization is meant for those who are truly aware of the absolute truth. After repeated birth on this path, which is known as Devyan, one attains these consecutive stages. One who is completely free from all material desires, being situated in the self, need not traverse the path of repeated birth and death.
Thank you.
Even though situated in a material body, one who is fully aware of the paths known as Pitrayana and Devayana, and who thus opens his eyes in terms of Vedic knowledge, is never bewildered in this material world.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. So today's verse is verse number 47. Yes. We'll be reading verse number 47 today, Prabhu. Amazing. Thank you. Pravritim cha nivrittim cha dvividham karma vedikam avartate pravrittena nivrittena shtune mritam pravritim cha nivrittim cha dvividham karma vedikam avartate pravrittena navritena shnute mritam. Yes. Pravritam cha nivrittam cha dvividham karma vedikam avartate pravrittena nivriteshnastu nimritam pravritam cha nivrittam cha dvividham karma vedikam avartate pravrittena nivritena shnute mritam. Pravritam cha nivrittam cha
Vividham karma vedikam
vividham karma vedikam
avartate pravrittena
nivritena shnute mritam. Pravritim cha nivrittam cha dvividham karma vedikam avartate pravrittena nirvitena shnute mritam. Pravrittam, inclination for material enjoyment. Cha, and nivritam, cessation of material enjoyment. Cha, and dvividham, these two varieties, karma, of activities, vedikam, recommended in the Vedas, avartate, one travels up and down through the cycle of sansar. Pravritain, by an inclination for enjoying material activities. Nivritena, but by ceasing such activities. Ashnute, one enjoys. Amritam, eternal life. Would you like to read translation, Leo?
For sure.
According to the Vedas, there are two kinds of activities, pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti activities involve raising oneself from a lower to a higher condition of materialistic life, whereas nivritti means the cessation of material desire. Through pravritti activities, one suffers from material entanglement, but by nivritti activities, one is purified and becomes fit to enjoy eternal, blissful life.
Thank you. So read the purport. Yes, Manil Prabhu, we can start with you.
As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 16:7, Pravritin cha nivritin cha gnanana vil asura. The asuras, non-devotees, cannot distinguish between pravritti and nivritti. Whatever they like, they do. Such persons think themselves independent of strong material nature, and therefore they are irresponsible and do not care to act piously. Indeed, they do not distinguish between pious and impious activity. Bhakti, of course, does not depend on pious or impious activity.
Yes, Prabhu, Rohan.
I stated in Srila
Peacefully.
1.2.6.
Samparo dharma yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahituki aparahita suprasidati.
The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which man can attain to love and devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. Nonetheless, those who act piously have a better chance to become devotees. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.16,
Chatur vidya bhajante mam jnana sakra arjuna.
O Arjuna, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me. One who takes to devotional service, even with some material motive, is considered pious, and because he has come to Krishna, he will gradually come to the stage of bhakti. Then, like Dhruv Maharaj, he will refuse to accept any material veneration from the Lord. Swami Kritartho Sme Varam Nai.
Yache. Thank you. Who else wanted to read? You're already done. Raja Prabhu, yes.
Therefore, even if one is materially inclined, one may take to the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and Balrama, or Gaura and Nithai, so that he will very soon be purified of all material desires. Shpiram Savati Dharmatma. As soon as one is freed from inclinations towards pious and impious activities, he became a perfect candidate for returning home back to Godhead.
Jai. Thank you. Seems like the verses that we read today, there's a lot to learn, and I would say I don't know much about all the verses, but yes, we will try to understand in a very simple language. Wherever you are confused, feel free to ask a question and feel free to correct me. But we'll start with the question as always. What's the purpose of my life? Have you ever thought about it? What's the purpose of my life?
Krishna, many times. Krishna.
Okay, those who could not kind of, think about this question will kind of make it a little more simple. What's the difference between human beings and animals?
Dharma.
Chanting.
Okay, what different are we doing today? What different are we doing today from animals?
Knowing God.
Conscious. God.
Conscious, knowing God.
Reading Bhagavad.
So, animals do eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Ahar, nidra, bhay, maithun, cha, etat. So, animals do the same. Somewhere we all do the same thing. Maybe our standards could be different. Animals don't have table and chair, but we have table and chair. Animals don't have cutlets, we have cutlets too. But it's just we have raised our standards. That's the only difference when it comes to eating. We choose what we want, whatever they get, they also choose, but they don't have many options maybe. Sleeping, we have a beautiful bed. They don't have those comforts, they have natural bed. We have a lot of clothes too, we have blankets and all, they don't have all those things. Then, Mating, yes, this is, I mean, sex is a part of their life too and our lives too. We do it in a different way, but yes, they have full freedom. They do it in open. Next is by defending. When it comes to defending, we have certain weapons, but still we do defend too. We are not different from them. They do as per their intelligence. Their weapons are their nails or whatever, Krishna provided them. We may be having an atomic bomb or some other equipments for defending ourselves. But are we here to compete with animals? Like you eat, we also eat, but our food is nicer than yours. You eat, we also eat. We have a table and chair, a beautiful house to eat in. You don't have all those things. More or less, we are struggling, we are working hard, but we are doing the same thing as animals. We are not doing anything different from them. Or are we? Our ways could be different, our standards could be different, but more or less we are competing with them maybe. And it's just completely useless. Human life is not given to compete with animals. So what's the advantage of having a human form, a human life? Athato Brahma Jigyasa. The purpose of human life is to inquire about the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Source. Is to know about our original identity. So, right now, if we look at our lives, more or less everybody is suffering. We are trying our best, we are seeking happiness, none of us is happy. We want happiness, but we get something else. Why? Because we don't know the purpose of our life, we don't know the goal of our life. So the purpose of a Jeev is? Tattva Jigyasa. The purpose of a Jeev is Tattva Jigyasa, like he just mentioned. Well, thank you, Prabhu. Do you really think that we are born to go through all these sufferings every day, working like 9 to 9, and then somehow crying hard for one day off, and then when we get that one day off, then again, before we feel it, it's gone already. Just every day is a different suffering for human beings. Why? I mean, there's something wrong that we are doing. What's that? I mean, we are seeking for happiness, we are looking for happiness, and we are still distressed, we are still kind of living full of misery, life full of miseries. Why?
Because it's okay, it's good to have some goals, but if we put a bit too much on our shoulders, there is suffering.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Why would be this too much? Because of maybe greed or wanting to be better?
True. Like the material possessions, like Prabhu mentioned, that as long as these material possessions are serving you, helping you, satisfying your purpose of life, they are good. But when you start serving them, then things start getting complicated. We work hard to buy the latest phone. I would not take the model name or anything. Working hard to buy the latest model. What comes next with it? Buying a screen guard for it. And then buying a cover for it, the case. And then insurance, most important if it gets to insurance for it.
For anything you want observation.
Yes. And what else do we buy with it? Data plan, storage plan, yes. And charger, AirPods. And what if the phone gets stolen? The worst kind of attack, like worse than heart attack we feel. As if somebody has taken our kind of arms and legs away, right? Fully handicapped we feel once the phone gets stolen. Like, is this really, we really stress so much about buying all these possessions, accumulating all these possessions, but does it really bring us happiness? Are these possessions there to help us, or are we serving them? We have kind of become a slave of all these possessions. That's where things start getting complicated. When your phone gets stolen, would you cry?
Could be.
Okay, we'll do it practically tomorrow. Maybe after some time.
It's easy to steal by phone too.
Honestly, as soon as it's stolen, you get distressed, right? Would your phone feel the same? No. Then why are we investing so much into something where there's no reciprocation? Where it's just like you keep on investing, but you have no idea whether you are going to lose them or they are going to lose you. But yes, for sure, either of you are going to lose each other at one point, and that's going to come very soon. And that's completely uncertain too. So here we have two paths to follow as mentioned in the verse as well. Pravritti and Nivritti. As we read already, Pravritti means the path of sense gratification, where you satisfy your senses. Whatever activities that you do is just to bring yourself more bodily comforts, to serve more your body, your senses, your desires. But when it comes to Nivritti marg, it means soul gratification, we can say. Where you try to gratify your soul, where you engage, where you know your true identity, where you know your real purpose, and you walk on that path. That's called the marg of Nivritti. Any questions? We'll go further on Pravritti and Nivritti. But before that, there's again a question. And this question would sound practical to you too. Sometimes we work hard to get something in our life, we get it. And there are a lot of such kind of possessions we have that we literally kind of used to dream of, and then we get them, and then now we have them, still we are not content. Still, there is something within us which is, despite of having all the materialistic, possessions, still there's something in us which kind of seeks for something. It just feels so incomplete from within. Like, it could be like someone's companionship, a relationship, but still it seeks for something. You say like, I have everything in my life, I have good friends, I have a good partner as well, but still there's something which is missing. That incompleteness, do you guys feel too sometimes? So that incompleteness is not from mind and intelligence. That's the experience of the soul. And to complete the soul, there's only one thing. When you connect it to Krishna, that's the only way you can make it feel complete, where you can make it complete originally. Like your hands are a unit of your entire body. If you put them separate from your body, no matter how beautifully you decorate your hands, whatever jewelry you put on them, the tattoos and all, still the hands will be incomplete unless they are connected back to the body. The purpose gets satisfied when they are connected back to the body, like we discussed last time. The same way we are part and parcels of Krishna. As long as we are away from Him, we could not be happy. But as soon as we are attached to Krishna again, as soon as we know who we are, the happiness comes back. The completeness comes back. Does anyone have any questions before we move forward? Sure. It feels like, fish without water. The incompleteness is like that. And as soon as you are on the path of Nivritti, you feel like the fish is again in the water. The bliss that you get, the happiness that you get. Honestly, when you kind of plan to come to the temple, there's a different kind of excitement, enthusiasm there within you. After coming here, sometimes your brain cannot even understand, like, what's wrong? I mean, I had friends to meet, I had assignments to do, but still I ended up coming to the temple. Why? That's what the soul seeks. That's what the Atma seeks. And when Atma comes closer to the Paramatma, finds bliss. You were saying something, yeah.
Thanks, Prabhu.
No tough questions.
So, as you mentioned, there are two paths, Prakriti and Nivritti. So, are these two paths opposite? Or, so to follow one, you have to leave the other, or you can, parallelly walk on both of them,
Yeah, no, that's a nice question, yes. Again, there's a verse, Yuktahar Viharasya cha, something I read. I don't know the words properly right now, but I know the meaning translation. Before that, we'll take an example. The same example I took last time. We open the window so that we can get the sunlight. With window, it's just not the sunlight that comes. It brings some dust as well. It brings some dust as well. It doesn't mean, since it's bringing some dust as well, it doesn't mean we'll close the window. It doesn't mean that we will not live this human life. The window will remain open, but yes, you will clean the dust every morning, every evening. It means you will live a life regulated by the Shastras. You will live a life which is regulated by the principle of the path given by the Gurus, the path given by the Mahajanas. Under proper disciplic succession, we'll come to that as well. When you live a balanced life, that's what our real kind of goal is to be in this world, is to make sure we live a regulated life in a way where we take full advantage of human form and go back to Godhead. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
So you said we should be in the both sides, like some sense.
Okay. There, you are drinking milk. There's a milk in a glass, and you see a fly in it. There's a fly in the milk. Does it change the taste of the milk? Does it change the color of the milk? But still, you don't drink the milk, right? As soon as you see the fly in the milk, you would not consume it. You just know that it has got contaminated now. The color did not change, the taste did not change. But just it's contaminated, you would not consume it the same way. When you know what to take, how much to take, then life becomes very simple. We'll come to that as well, how to make life simple. We'll come to that as well. Before we move forward, I have a question. Like we mentioned, something that connects us to Paramatma can bring us completeness. What's that thing that can bring us that completeness? Nityananda Prabhu. There is something that connects us to the Paramatma, to Krishna. What is that thing that makes us complete?
Mercy of Guru.
Okay, what's that mercy?
A desire to serve it.
Mm-hmm.
To have
Devotional
darshan,
service.
Anyone else?
to have darshan of the Lord.
Okay.
Loving devotional service.
Yes. In simple words, bhakti. Bhakti is something that connects us to Krishna. Without bhakti, we cannot feel, understand the love of Krishna. The thing that we really worship is the love of God, and when the soul is connected with that, it finds its peace, its bliss. So there are so many paths. When you are on the path of pravritti, you do so many jap, tap, yag, you follow a lot of, you do a lot of austerities or yogasanas, or follow the path could be of Mayavadi, Sunyavadi, Brahmavadi. Still, all those things have their limits. All those things may take you to the higher planets, but again, they cannot take you to the Godhead. They have their limits. They take you a little up. Like when you have a ball, when someone throws a ball in the sky, what happens?
It comes down.
It comes down. Yeah, somebody would throw it with more pressure, with a little more power, but again, it would not touch the sky. The ball is gonna come back first. Second, it would not touch the sky. The same way, the other paths that we follow, they are very limited. They cannot bring us to, they cannot take us to Krishna directly. They have their limitations. You go to higher levels, higher planets, but yes, In the end, you have to come back. There is a verse which says, Punarapi Janmam, Punarapi Marnam, Punarapi Jatra Shayanam. You have to come back to this planet again. You have to go to mother's womb, and then again you have to go through all the sufferings like mentioned in this. You do a lot of austerities, a lot of havan, yajna, a lot of grains you burn. In one of the translations you read, then what happens? Those grains, they come back in the form of rain. They become little herbs and plants. And what happens? We human beings eat all those herbs and plants. With those herbs and plants, the semen is secreted, and that goes in other female body, and then we take birth again. Then we take birth again. How simply and beautifully it was explained. So you gotta come back. There is no, I would say, a permanent solution on those paths. But bhakti is free. When, just imagine that you want to wake up early in the morning. You don't have the cell phone option. Just consider that you don't have any clock on you, alarm clock. But you want to wake up early in the morning. Who would you ask you to wake up early?
Mom.
Yes, someone who wakes up before you. Someone who is already awake when you wake up. The person who is already awake can wake you up, right? But somebody who sleeps more than you, can that person wake you up? You are bound to a rope, and you want someone to kind of, unbind you, right? You need someone to unbind you. Can that person has to be free first to unbind you. If that person is not free, he cannot or she cannot unbind you, right? Yes. So we are also in the same way. We are the same way, bound by the modes of material nature here, and bhakti has the real freedom that can take us to Krishna, that can unbind us from all these material entanglements. And that's the only path that can take us back to Godhead. Even, we start our journey on this path. As soon as we start our journey on this path, we start feeling the real bliss, the real freedom. Because it's very simple, it's very soul satisfying, but the other paths, they require you to be doing a lot of austerities. When you are on path of bhakti, it doesn't ask you to go and take shower first, then I will accept you. You will see a lot of examples. Bhakti is like mother. No matter how filthy you look, how dirty you are, whether you are fully covered with mud or dirt, bhakti will, without any question, will accept you, will embrace you, will clean you beautifully, give you a beautiful shower, get you dressed up nicely, make your hair nicely, and then will take you to Krishna, get you Krishna's love. That's how bhakti is. Before going forward, there is a verse 7.5.31 which explains the real purpose of human beings in a very simple way. You'll read it. We'll start with you. Before that, any kind of questions, if anyone wants to correct, please feel free to correct. Yes. Let's go to translation, Prabhu. Who would like to read translation? From Mataji's. Nobody raised their hand, that's why. Go ahead.
Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life, and who therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home, back to Godhead, and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by
another blind man
miss the right path and fall into a ditch. Materially attached men, led by another materially attached man, are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries.
So the verse says, knowing Vishnu, serving Vishnu should be the goal of human form, human life. A part of this, whatever we do, will bring us back to this ocean of birth and death. In this purport, Prabhupada has mentioned the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, just tell me this thing. You want to go to the moon, and if you ask the address of the moon, or if you ask the taxi driver to take you there, would he be able to take you there? Can a taxi driver take you to the moon? He will definitely get you confused completely. He will take you here and there, just kind of spoil your time, money, efforts, everything. But he can take you to the moon. The same way, there are a lot of gurus, they haven't been on that path. They haven't been they have never experienced the taste of Krishna, Prem, the love of Krishna. They are not through the disciplic succession, the Guru Parampara. If you ask them, like Shukracharya in Prahlad Maharaj's Katha, he was not serving Vishnu. He was not teaching him to serve Vishnu. That's why he did not follow him. He did not follow what he asked him to do. He followed what Narad Muni asked him to do, because Narad Muni is a guru through disciplic succession. But Shukracharya, these are, what do we call it, inherited gurus who are not through the disciplic succession, and they don't know who Vishnu is. They cannot take you to Vishnu. They can take you here and there. They can give you the knowledge where you can enjoy the materialistic life more effectively or efficiently. But what the soul really seeks, it cannot quench the thirst of the soul. In the same verse, without Guru, if we try to understand, without Guru, our life is like running on a treadmill. How many of you ever use treadmill? You run so fast. But what happens?
You get tired.
You get tired, it's okay, that's a thing. But
You're in the same room.
you're in the same room. The point that you start from, you finish at the same point. There is no journey in that. You sweat a lot. Somewhere, some people lose some weight too. But again, there's no journey in that. There's no taste in that. So life without Guru is like that. You start from a point, you run so hard, you do so hard, you sweat a lot, you make little muscle, but again, there's no journey that you travel. You are back to the same point. You come back to the same point. Guru's presence is very, very important in our life. Like we mentioned, bhakti is something. Bhakti is free, and bhakti is the only way we can get, freedom from the clutches of Maya. Without bhakti, there's no other way. And who gives us the bhakti? When we have the desire to know Krishna, desire to love Krishna, when Krishna sees that honest desire, when we come to the temple, like in the verse it was mentioned, Chatur Vidya Bhajante Mam. You come to the temple, maybe you were distressed, that's why you came to the temple. Maybe you wanted to have something materialistic, but again, you came and you approached Krishna. You had curiosity, that's why you wanted to know about Krishna more, that's how you approached him. Maybe you are Jnani and you want to know more about Krishna, then you are approaching him. In whatever state, in whatever position, condition you are trying to approach Krishna, Krishna will make arrangements in your life. Somewhere that desire to love Krishna will have you meet with the pure devotee. When you have the association of pure devotees, what happens? You start feeling the real bliss, Krishna Prem, the love of Krishna. You understand your real purpose of life. You understand your real original form. And when you know the destination, it becomes very easier for you to choose a path. A lot of people, they are traveling here and there, but they don't know where they want to go. They don't know their destination. They don't know even the path. Sometimes they choose this, sometimes they choose that, and they get confused, and then they end up becoming addicts of drugs and alcohol. But here, the association of devotees gives you the destination, it gives you the path, it gives you the association, it gives you the direction. And once you have all these things, life becomes very, very simple. There are no complications. You just gotta hold the hand and just walk peacefully. Again, on the other path, people struggle a lot. They would sit in a room, try to concentrate on a kind of, the Brahma Jyoti or some. They would have to imagine that they are in the sky, or a lot of other theories, speculations involved. You have to sit in this position, stand in this position, but on the path of bhakti, where they guys go, after doing so much of struggle, we go beyond that, just by chanting, dancing, honoring prasadam. What else could be beautiful?
You don't surrender to Guru Prabhupada. You surrender. How to surrender?
When you come to the temple, when you approach Krishna, you find the association of devotees. And when the soul finds its peace, its rest, it automatically surrenders. It automatically surrenders. When you read about Guru, you all are here today because somewhere long ago Prabhupada decided to deliver the souls in the Western countries. That's how the pure devotees are. They decided to deliver the souls in the Western countries. They went through a lot of struggle, a lot of challenges. They came to this country. They struggled a lot, and because of them, there are platforms available. This temple was established 50-60 years ago. And because of this temple, the devotees, the association of devotees, the Bhakti Academy platform is there, and the classes are being organized, and see, all the arrangements are being done for you just because a devotee decided to help the souls get delivered, to help them find their true purpose, to take their lives out of miseries. Somebody who's completely selfless, bhakti is like that. Completely selfless. It will accept you as you are, will clean you, make you beautiful, and then help you taste the real bliss. Is it clear? Any questions you may ask now? It has to be simple. Sorry, just kidding. Yes.
You said you made one statement that we find some peace, and then we automatically surrender. So is it not opposite? We surrender, then we find peace?
Okay. We surrender, then we find peace is a thing too. But first, you are distressed, or you want something material, but you are approaching Krishna. Somewhere you approached him. When you approach Krishna, he gives you the association of devotees. When you have the association of devotees, when you have a little higher taste, you automatically surrender to it. Like you've been eating sugar. I may not be completely correct, but I'll try my best. You've been eating sugar, and one day you tasted honey. When you taste honey, you easily give up on sugar because you develop the higher taste. And when the soul kind of develops that permanent higher taste, it automatically surrenders. And then yes, the other process or other stages of surrendering come further. But the faith has to be there. That's all I can. If someone else has a kind of any other answer, please feel free to share. Go ahead.
Sure, I think answering to your question, it depends on the modes of material nature. Like we know sattva, the goodness, it tastes like poison in the beginning, you have to do something, but then after it tastes like honey. So in the mode of goodness, you first surrender, suffer a little bit maybe, and then it feels bliss for you. But in the other modes, passion and ignorance, it's first enjoyment, and then it feels you need some austerity to get out of this mode, to get to sattva. So if you come in the mode of ignorance or passion, first you'll have fun, bliss, but then the time finishes, good karma finishes, and you have to switch to another mode. You have to surrender, you have to taste this.
But like you said, surrender. Just when somebody is sick and then they get healed, what comes in between that? Treatment. When do you take treatment? When you realize that you are sick. The realization comes in between. When you realize you are sick, you surrender yourself to the doctor. You take the medication and then you get healed. The surrender is the same way. First you have to realize that yes, this world is full of suffering. I'm not feeling the real bliss. It's just like everything is so temporary. But when this realization is there, then you can kind of surrender yourself, and that's where you can trade the medication, and then you can kind of get healed beautifully when you have the faith and acceptance and realization. All right, Prabhus, thank you so much. And whatever corrections that you might have, please let me know. All the questions will be taken on Saturday. No further questions will be taken today. Hare Krishna.